Hello guys, I'm back. I just want to talk about this grow tent that I've had more than a year, and I want to talk about this tent before I break it down because I'm upgrading. Oh, that's my son watching a show. So yeah, I'm upgrading to this 48-inch by 48-inch by 72-inch grow tent by VivoSun also. But before I talk about that, I just want to touch base on this one before I break it down. This tent has served me well. I learned a lot this past year. This is the first time I took care of or had miniature orchids and some orchids that require lots of humidity, and also Nepenthes. And so this is the only one that the reason I purchased it is because this is the only one with this clear observation window, which is nice because I can always see the orchids and I can always observe them and see if there's anything wrong. I can see the humidifiers turning on. My son, so pardon him. Anyway, so yeah, it has served me well. I learned a lot. I mentioned before in my videos that I think my son is doing number 2, is doing potty. So anyway, so I mentioned before I had orchids back when I was in the Philippines, but being a tropical country, I just take the orchids, put them on a tree, on our wood, and they grow, and that's it. Back then, I'm not really into the scientific names and all that stuff. But basically, when I was doing my research with these orchids, I learned a lot about different species, about different genus, and main reason I want this type of the other reason why I want this type of grow tent is that it's not that big. It's easier to control the parameters, the humidity, the temperature, and I have these 2 humidifiers. One that when it turns on, it humidifies or fogs the plants at the lower level up to mid level, and the tall one fogs the ones on top. And they're connected to this hygrostat or humidity controller, an Inkbird humidity controller, which is doing a great job. Basically, this very efficient and reliable. So I had this for a year now. It has a humidity probe there, the one you can find in there, and so far it's doing great. It's doing great. You just need to find the perfect spot where it will be able to read the humidity well, but at the same time, because as you can see, it's in the mid part of this tent, that the humidity definitely is different from below and on the top. So I just was able to find the perfect spot, which is good for all of the orchids in here. Now, since this is a smaller triangular tent, it's easier to control the humidity and the temperatures. I have 2 sets of fans. So they are USB fans from Amazon. They come in pairs, and basically one pair blows air in. It's the one top blows fresh air in, and another blows. You can see there the vent air out. And then I have another pair that just circulates air up here. And yeah, again, it has served me well. It's done great. The orchids are doing well. The orchids has done well. The only thing is it's small. And as you can see, my collection is getting bigger. I bought a smaller VivoSun tent as a temporary enclosure. I thought that will work, but it's just way too small. And VivoSun had a sale about a week or 2 weeks ago, and I a $50 off on this tent. I'll talk more about this tent later on, but basically I went for it, and I've already placed those garden fencing that where I will mount the plants. But I don't think the Inkbird humidity or hygrostat controller will work here, because this is a bigger tent and it won't be able to read the humidity accurately on another side. So in this case, for humidity, I purchased for the first time a MistKing, and I will talk about that later. So yeah, so back to this tent. Yeah, I'm gonna miss this tent. I'm not sure if I'm gonna sell it or I'm gonna keep it, but basically I don't want to run multiple tents at a time. That won't be cost efficient in terms of electricity use, resources. So what I plan, initially what I planned was just run both at the same time, but I don't think that would be, I mean, even though we have solar panels up on top of our roof, that I don't want to waste too much energy. And so far on the other tent, the other light I have is working really well. And so yeah, this is basically my my last, more likely my last video for this tent, and I just want to show you guys. And yeah, again, it's been a great year for me. I was thinking about doing a 1-year video. However, I have a new job, really busy with a job, and with kids again. So, and yeah, the sale came on, and I bought the new Vivo Sun tent. I bought the MistKing, and I'm now in the process of transferring all these plants on the other one. Anyway, yeah. If you have any questions about this tent, I'll let you guys just put it in the comments below, and I'll answer as much as I can. But yeah, that's it. We'll move on now to the other tent. Okay. Before I finish setting up this grow tent, I want to talk about the MistKing system that I purchased, and this will be the one to keep the humidity consistent and high enough in this grow tent. Now, in the first part of the video, I talk about this humidity controller from Inkbird. That's the actual controller, and that's the probe. That's what tests or checks what the humidity is, and depending on what the humidity and the settings, it will turn on. So right now I've set it up to go down as low as 63% humidity, and when it goes that low, it turns on the humidifiers and brings it up to 70. During the summer, I've set it up to go up to 75, but I let it go down to 65. So it depends. So what I find is the cooler the temperature is, the humidity stays higher and more consistent. But if it's warmer, it goes down real fast and it's not as consistent. So with this system, I definitely check every time, like every free time I have. And well, it's not a big problem because I always stay up here in our second floor and check out the plants, watch them, just like have coffee. And I would observe, and I would sometimes turn on a timer and see how fast the humidity would go down. And depending again on the weather and how hot it is, or if I just water the plants, it will either be fast, or it will be either too fast or too slow until I find a sweet spot. So I've been moving the probe from, like, in that area, I might put it lower or higher, but basically it has been consistent enough for me, and it's been easy to use. But I think, or I feel, in a smaller grow tent it works better, but not in a bigger grow tent. The problem that I find in a bigger grow tent is if I put the probe in one spot, since it's bigger, the humidity might be different on the left, on the right, even on the lower part of this tent. I mean, the one closer here, it might be different on the front part, or it might be different on the back part. That's my problem, and I've been debating about using the Inkbird humidity controller. The other thing is, the main reason I bought this grow tent is I want to move all my humidity loving plants in here. And as you can see, those Nepenthes has already grown, and I have like a dozen more new Nepenthes, small ones, in the other grow tent, and they will definitely get bigger. So I want to utilize the space in this tent, and I won't be able to do that if I have 2 or 3 humidifiers in here, because to be able to control the humidity I would need the humidifiers, and that will take room. So I finally decided to get the MistKing for that reason. And they have 3 controllers though. The standard one I think is called the seconds timer, wherein you have like 8 or 9 settings depending on the week. So you can turn on the misting system, like for example during Mondays 9 a.m. and then in Mondays mornings 9 a.m., Monday afternoon 3 p.m. so something like that, and throughout the week you can do that. However, and then there's another one that they have, which is also like the invert humidity controller, which has a probe, but definitely I'm moving away from that that setup. So what I purchased is the repeat cycle timer. So how it works is I can set it up wherein it can turn on, and my plan is, this is my plan, I can turn it on every hour, every 60 minutes for like 10 seconds. Again, that will still depend. I will test it later once everything is set up. So I might turn it on every hour for 10 seconds, and from what I've seen, it produces a really fine mist. But again, it will be tested. And then at night I won't let it turn on. However, I don't think it has that option. So what I'll be doing is at night I will just let it turn on for like 2 seconds every 6 hours, if I can do that. If not, I can do like every 2 hours. It depends on what the limitations of this controller is. But what I've noticed is at night the plants go through I forgot the right term, but it also produces they let out oxygen and also some moisture. So in a way they provide their own humidity, and I can see that at night. So right now you can see it's like it's not turning on, but it's 63.7% humidity. But at night, like from 70%, it will jump to like 80 or 90 at night in this small grow tent. And the humidity controller, the hydrostat, won't turn on anymore. It will keep that humidity on until the lights turn on. When it gets warm, it will then start to go through the settings again. So my plan is mostly during the day, but again, I'll be observing. But it is fall, and we're going to winter, and it's gonna be cooler. So from what I've observed, the humidity will be higher and will be more consistent. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a science to it. I just didn't really read through it anymore because I've seen it happen in this grow tent. So anyway, back to this repeat cycle timer. It's an additional $5 for this system, and again, I'm planning to turn it on every hour for 10 seconds. Now, from what I've read from dart frog hobbyists to orchid hobbyists who's been using the MistKing, you also need to give time for the pump to turn on, and depending on how the length of your tubing and how many nozzles you have, it might take a few seconds for the actual mist to start. So if I turn it on for 10 seconds, maybe 3 seconds of that is actually the water going through the tubes, and maybe 7 seconds, I meant seconds. 10 seconds, 3 seconds of that might be just the water going through the tubing, and then the 7 seconds is when it's actually misting. Again, I'll be testing it, but I just want to show you guys the system that I wanted. And eventually in the future, I will be setting up another dart frog tank, maybe a couple more, and I might get another system for that, because this one will be specifically for plants and Nepenthes. But that's for another project and will be a long time budget wise. So let me go ahead and show you the reservoir, and I'll talk to you guys about it, because this doesn't come with a reservoir. You need to buy your own bucket, which is not a big deal because the reservoirs are pretty cheap. So I'll show you guys. Alright guys, so we're here in our second floor. My kids sleep downstairs, so this second floor is all mine right now until they decide to get their own rooms. But basically, here is the reservoir that I've purchased. This is from Lowe's. Actually it's not really a bucket. On the instructions they advise a bucket, but I've seen a lot of dart frog hobbyists use a container like this simply because it's flatter, and according to their tips or according to their reviews, the flatter it is, it's easier to drill the bulkhead, and it's easier for the bulkhead to be tightened and prevent leaks. And I've left this now for more than maybe 4 hours now. I don't see any leaks. I'll change the water definitely, but as you can see here, I've marked this parts here to show how much water it has earlier and didn't even go down. So I'm confident that I did a good job. Yeah, I mean the instructions are pretty what do you call this? Pretty easy to follow. But to be honest, one of the other reasons why I haven't tried a MistKing before is because of I don't have any really good DIY skills. And I've been watching repeatedly watching videos on how to do the bulkheads, the reservoirs, and how to drill it, and it was pretty easy. Didn't even take me 5 minutes. I drilled it, and yeah, I was done in like 5 minutes, tightened it, and that's it. The white thing there is a filter that is sent with the MistKing. And yeah, I won't go through it anymore. There's a lot of videos in YouTube, and I just want to show people that even a person with no DIY skills can easily do this. And yeah, I'm proud of it. Anyway, yeah, that's the reservoir. Now what I'll do is I will be setting up the tubing. I won't show it anymore, but yeah, forgive the mess, but I've been doing this now for a week. Every once I'm able to have a free time from work and from the kids, I started doing this. But basically, I will, once everything's finished, I will show you guys my setup. I'll test it with you guys to show you guys, and then I'll move the plants. And then yeah, what else? Oh yeah, initially I was planning to run both tents, but that won't be practical in terms of electricity use. We have solar panels, but I don't want to waste too much energy, money for 2 tents. So and that's the other reason why I want to do the MistKing, because it will be more efficient in terms of using water. So I use rainwater. And anyway, one more thing I want to show you guys, the other grow tent that I had, where initially the bigger pitcher plants were. So it's small, so it was on sale, and there's a part of me right now that is how do I say it? I'm regretting buying this. I should have bought the bigger one, but at that time it wasn't on sale. So now I will have 2 tents that I won't be using, so I'll find a way to either sell them or find a use for them. And sorry for the mess in here. It's more of a storage area right now, but eventually as my kids grow up, one of them will take this room. So yeah, I'll get back to you guys when everything is set up. It might be today or might be a couple of days from now, depending on free time. Okay, thank you. Hello guys, so I've finished the MistKing setup last night, and I want to talk about this tent before I move all of my plants from my triangular grow tent to this one. Pardon the background noise, my kids are watching their TV show, so I think I have a few minutes before they come looking for me. So I want to start first with the grow tent here. It is a VivoSun 4x4 by 6 feet. But in the description or the illustration online, the measurement for the height is up until here. So I think I have another a foot 12 or 14 inches up here, but in an angle. Again, this was like $150. It was on sale. I got it for $100 on the VivoSun website. And my initial plan was to purchase the same measurements, but it's more of the rectangular grow tent. But I went for this mainly for this angled roof. They say it's according to the description, it is a cube roof. Don't know why it's not a cube for me, obviously. But in here, so I've dimmed the grow light, and I'll talk about it also later. But I did a quick review or unboxing of this grow light before. It's in my channel. But basically, I like the fact that yeah, it's angled, and the light has its own, how can I say this, has its own space, so it's at its own room. My problem with this triangular tent, and even if I get the rectangular tent, is the grow light. The light is basically like within the range of the plants. And what I've noticed, especially for this type of plants, I mean, they need bright indirect light, but the heat produced by the lights can cause problems. And I figured if I purchase this type of grow tent, since it's angled here, as you can see, it's indirect but at the same end, and it's not directly pointing towards the plants, which is another good thing, because orchids and nepenthes, they require bright indirect light, and I think this setup will definitely help with that. What else? It has 2 vents here, and I've already put 2 of these USB fans. Again, I bought this from Amazon. They come in pairs and they're already connected, and you can adjust their settings, low, medium, and high, and I have it in medium. So this one has air, fresh air from outside going in here, and this is blowing air out. There are 3 vents there. Unfortunately, even once I place it where my grow tent, my triangular grow tent is, these 3 vents here would be covered by that wall. And I've been debating where I would place this, but I feel like to better take advantage of the small area that I have here for more projects, then I would need to place this over here. I've already placed the garden wire fencing. This yeah, it's pretty affordable over at Home Depot. It's PVC coated, that's why it doesn't rust. I've had the ones in there for like more than a year now, and still no signs of rust or breaking. So I really like this. It also offered me a way to be able to put the tubing around this grow tent. So as you can see here, what else can I? This is a pretty big grow tent. I feel like this should be my last. I don't want to purchase another one or run 2 tents at a time. Again, it won't be cost effective for me. Unfortunately, VivoSun or other manufacturer doesn't have any, didn't design another grow tent with a large observation window like that one. So for this one, I'm using clear shower curtain, which is doing its job well. I just have the shower hooks over here, and that's it. I just do it this way, and I'm able to observe the plants, keep the humidity in. And another good thing about this grow tent, since it has an angled roof, the air blowing in is not, it's not directly, the air is not directly going towards the plants, which is not a good thing because it might dry them out. In all forums that I've read, all videos I've watched, all care guides I've read online about Nepenthes and orchids, they need to have good airflow. However, if it's too much air, you dry them out. With the triangular tent, I have like this fence way up, and that seems to do the job. But I feel like this would be even better because this time I can put them on their highest setting and still get the air flowing without them like really getting directly into the plant. So that's good. Which is another thing is I don't want the air, the fan blowing towards the misting system, because I mean I plan to point them towards the plants that I feel like needs more mist or more humidity, and if there's fans blowing, then the mist will be all over the place. And yeah, up here I just have this fencing as a way to put the light. I didn't use the bars, but I put these bars here for support. What else? I bought this, they call it egg crates in the Dark Frog hobby, but basically they're light insulators in the ceiling. So I bought a couple. They're expensive. I can think of another alternative for this, but so far they've worked really well for me. The reason I bought this is I don't want to be stepping on the actual floor of this tent because it will be wet. But at the same time, I want a place for the potted plants to be on the floor without without water directly underneath the pots, because that can cause root rot. So this way it will allow water to evaporate properly. And then I have some extra of this egg crate, and I built this like shelf so I can put some of my potted orchids and Nepenthes on over this. And I put it a bit up, I made it a bit higher, because what I'll be doing is I'll be placing trays in underneath so that when I water them, I can collect the water and discard that water, because I don't want too much water in this grow tent. The problem would be it would be too humid. It can cause, too much water, too much moisture, can lead to bacterial growth, fungi growth, mold growth, so a lot of other bad things. So that's what it's for. I can put my use aluminum trays underneath, and then when I water those potted plants, that water will drain towards that, and I can discard it properly. What else about this tent? Yeah, I'm very excited. So about this light, I've had this now I think I'm from June when I built or set up a smaller growth, and also from Vivo Sun, and I was using this, and this is well built. I think at that time it was like $77. Now they increased the price. There's, I think in Amazon, people are noticing, and they're kind of the demand is getting better, so I think they raised the price. What's nice about this is, I forgot, but it has a controller in here that is kind of has a good reputation. Was it on Honeywell? I forgot, but basically a lot of growers like that controller or that chip or something, and that makes it more efficient, and that's what's built in here. And for the price, again, it's cheaper compared to the other ones in Amazon. And then again, this is dimmable. The controller is right here and can get really bright, as you can see. I leave this at 75%. I'll show you. Okay, here. So yeah, that's 50 and this is 75. So I just leave it at 75, but for this video, I'll just dim it a little bit more. All right. So really nice light. I've never had any problems. It's connected to a Walmart timer. No issues with that. Heat. It doesn't get really hot compared to the Mars Hydro that I have in my triangular grow tent. And if things do go really well in the next few weeks or months, I might sell that Mars Hydro light. What else? And according to the description, it has a Samsung diodes, which apparently are really good and efficient. What else? So I have a list here of what I need to talk about, so I won't be forgetting. Okay, so let me talk about the misting system. Let me pause this for a bit. So here are the nozzles, and when I was researching about this MistKing systems, I was checking on the nozzles if I need extra, and they're expensive. Like this is $15. The ones that has two nozzles in one is like $20. Very expensive. I was like, why is it so expensive? But now I can say why. They are very well built, just by touching them. And this is like the budget ones. There's the ones with metal. They cost more, but these guys work. Like you can move it in different angles, and then you can know that they're not cheap. They're not cheaply done. They're really well designed, as you can see here. And let me show you guys in here. So last night I've tested different angles, and so far this is how I want to do it. And this is the 2-in-1, two nozzles in one piece. And they're very good, and I'll show you guys later, because I have one here that I removed because there's just so much mist. They're fine, which is great, but if there's too much, they'll eventually get wet. But these guys are really efficient. So I have this elbow, I forgot what it's called, connector, and I took off I took off one of the nozzles and just put it there because it's already cut. And I have another one here which I removed because I plan in this area would be the deciduous orchids that doesn't require that needs a dry air period. So it's really strong. It's amazing. I'm so glad that I went for it and not for the knockoffs, or not knockoffs. There are brands that have had misting system, but this is a totally different level. Like I can see right now, it has a very good reputation. It's efficient. It's what do you call? It's efficient, and at the same time reliable. Yeah, that's a word. It's reliable, and I can say right now it's very reliable. The reason I purchased the Ultimate system, it comes with 3 nozzles already, and with all this other stuff here. Like there's a lot of extra stuff that I realize that I might need, because this is the first time setting up one. And the thing is, I don't know what I'll need, so I just decided to buy the Ultimate version so that I get all the necessary bits and pieces that I will need in setting up the tent. And I'm glad I did. However, I purchased an extra 1 nozzle, and I purchased that 2-in-1 nozzle. I shouldn't have. If in hindsight, I shouldn't have, because there are very strong mist. It's fine, but they're very strong. Because the starter comes only with 1 nozzle. It doesn't even come with this cutter, which is, I think, is important if you want to have a good clean cut on your tubing. And then it comes with all these clips that when I checked online, the starter kit has only a few, but this one has all these necessary connectors: T connectors, L connectors. It's got this thing that you can like block where the water is flowing. I don't know if that's the correct term, but anyway, the yeah, and even this one, it's called the zip trip. So basically, after the there you go, after the nozzles have stops misting, they will drip, and this zip trip mechanism will stop that. However, for this to work, you need to have like the length of your tube and then let another length of tube back into this one. I think it brings the water back into the system. And I only have 25 feet, and I figured that might need more tubing at this point. I don't think so, but I don't think I need this zip trip. I will keep this for future use. I think this would be great for vivariums. So if you have several vivariums or one vivarium and you need to set this up and you don't want water to drip and cause like too much water on your plants, this would be important. But in my case here, even if there's water dripping, that's my son. Even if there's water dripping, for me, it's not a big issue at all. The instructions are pretty straightforward. So here is the reservoir. There's a filter there that comes with the purchase. A metal bulkhead. I think a couple of years ago they just have the plastic ones that I think threaded and wasn't able to prevent sometimes causes still leaks. So this is perfect. Never had any problems. Then it's connected to this very robust pump, amazing pump. Again, worth all the money. And then this one then goes towards in the tent. And the controller is right here. I haven't set it up, but as I've explained earlier, this is a repeat cycle timer. I'm sorry, I had too much coffee. So a repeat cycle timer. It's an additional $5 if you're gonna buy the whole if you're gonna buy it in the kit, because it comes the standard timer is the seconds timer, but this one is repeat cycle because like you can set it up for like every hour for 10 seconds, every hour, every 5 seconds in the morning, and then or during the day and during the night you can do it like every 2 hours for 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Now I'm gonna show you. It has a quick turn on system wherein you press this for like 5 seconds and it will turn on. And I figured that I'll just be running this for 5 seconds every hour or even less, because again, one of the finest mists I've ever seen, and I'm really impressed. Right now, even though I spent $300 for this, I can say it's well worth it, because now there's no guessing. Unlike when I had the hygrostat, sometimes it will turn on every 5 minutes and just mist the whole place too much, or sometimes depending on again where the probe is, sometimes it won't mist at all because it's kind of dry in the spot where it is. So I need to be constantly on the lookout for any changes in the tent. But in this one though, I just set it up once and it's good to go, and if I need to, I can adjust it. So let me go in here and press this. Okay, so 5 seconds. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. Oh, I turned it off. Okay. I'll need to hold on to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. And I'm not sure there. Very fine mist. And this is just 3 nozzles. Imagine I had 2 more in here. I had 5 earlier last night, and the place got drenched in just like 10 seconds. So I figured I'll turn this on for 5 seconds. See, there you go. Amazing. I'm so happy. Very happy about this purchase. All right, so that's about the misting system. And as you can see, yeah, there, it's dripping. So not a big deal. Again, if in this big grow tent, a drip like that won't really matter much. But yeah, so that's it. Next thing I'm gonna do now is transfer the plants in this grow tent. And if you guys have any questions, just put in the comments below. So yeah, let me transfer all the plants. It will take a couple of hours, but of course this is just a video. I'll edit it, so it will be half a second or something. So yeah, see you in a bit. Before I forget, I just want to say that again, this was $300. This ultimate system is actually $279. I bought another like the 2-in-1 nozzles that was like $20, and another single nozzle for like $15. So doing the math, it's like $300. And I was when I receive it and I'm doing this project now, I thought I shouldn't have just bought it. I just bought it as is. However, I realized that there's shipping fees like $20 or $30, but if it's like $300, the shipping is free. So rather than paying for the shipping, it's good that I bought extra nozzles, because again, at that time I don't know how much this system is, how strong it is, but just want to let you guys, if you're kind of thinking about getting the ultimate or the starter kit, it's worth, you know, getting extra nozzles in the future, just in case they break down. At least you have an extra. Or in this case also, it's an additional $5 for getting the repeat cycle timer. I'm not even gonna mention the advanced system, because that's way too much already. if I have maybe 20 Dart Frog tanks, that will work, but this one even works on 20 nozzles. So yep, that's it. I'll set up the plants now. Alright, so I'm now in the process of removing all the heavier stuff off here. I might just move this whole tent on the side, put a bigger tent in its place. Initially, my plan was I'd still use the hydrostat or the humidity controller in this bigger grow tent and get at least one of these in there. But as you guys have seen how strong the mist is, I won't need to. And that is another big advantage of having the MistKing, because again, I'll have more consistent humidity, and then I'm saving a lot of space. I'll show you guys later where I'll be placing the reservoir, which is outside of the tent, maybe in this area here, but I'll see first what I can do. So just want to show you guys how many plants I have in here, and they're moving to a bigger place. I would still be observing the plants. Definitely I will need to make sure that they get the humidity, or in this case, if they get too much moisture on their leaves or too much water in leaves, that can cause diseases, rot, fungus, mold. So it's good that I'm off for another like 5 days, and I have enough time to be checking each plant, or checking the whole tent. So just want to show you guys this tent. Really learned a lot about taking care of orchids in this kind of setup. So yeah, I'm just gonna start moving them, and the next part you'll see them in the bigger tent.